Hello and welcome to our special podcast episodes for The Last of Us HBO series, episode 5, Endure and Survive. My name's Bill Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hubley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here early this week, but not excited that we have to endure and survive a 9-day wait till the next episode of The Last of Us.
That's true. It's true. We've got a bit of a wait, but we did get 2 episodes very fast, so, fuck the Super Bowl. How dare they? It's really Rihanna's fault, I feel.
Yeah, if she wasn't performing the halftime show, I'm sure they would have.
They would have moved the Super Bowl. I reckon wouldn't.
Yeah.
They're not worried about people tuning out to watch the sport. They're worried about people tuning out not watching to watch Rihanna. I feel like it's the problem there. Anyway, this week's episode, Endure and Survive, directed by Jeremy Webb. Synopsis was, while attempting to evade the rebels, Joel and Ellie cross paths with the most wanted man in Kansas City and carefully continue their hunt. Actually a decent synopsis, so I feel like I would actually read that one out. Or what was I going to say? What's his name? Jeremy Webb. I looked up what he'd done a bunch of Alter Carbon, Shadow and Bone, Umbrella Academy, Lock and Key, a bunch of TV episodes. I feel like he'd done a very good job with this episode.
Also Key.
Episode.
He did last week's episode.
Yeah, sure, because it's 2-parter,
Yes.
So I can't remember if I looked him up last week or not. But, so this episode, obviously, it's sort of a direct sequel to last week's, which we haven't really got a direct sort of into the next one.
Other than I guess the first episode and the second.
Does it really though? Like, kind of.
I mean, it's a direct continuation.
Yeah, this one felt like the most just 2-parter, I guess. But
yep.
What'd you make of it?
I thought it was a really great episode. Obviously, doing something that the games weren't able to do, like flesh out the characters of Henry and Sam, getting to see the events from their perspective, and then playing out their story. And we get, if anyone was complaining about there not being enough infected the last couple of weeks, they got their fill this week.
Yeah, Ben. I mean, there was a lot infected, but amazing episode. Again, another really, really great episode. I loved, just the fleshing out of Henry and Sam, knowing, even though having played the game, obviously knowing where their story is going to go, and assuming it would only take this one episode to get through it all, which it ended up doing. Just still like the performances between Lamar Johnson playing Henry, and then Kevon Woodard, who played Sam. Really great sort of chemistry between the two as the brothers, and then especially between Sam and Ellie, Bella Ramsey. It's a really good performance, working well off Woodard there. And I mean, even Pedro Pascal, like actually getting interacted with an adult for a short period here that we haven't seen for a while because of Tess, obviously. Since Tess died. So that was really good. But again, we get more of Kathleen, Melanie Linsky in this. We get to find out why she's after Henry so much. Get to find out sort of, they play more on the no one's really the good guys thing when you find out Fedra, they talk so bad about them, raping and killing people and all this. Like, Joel has that whole line about, like, I heard the Fedra here was always like super rough, or I don't know what he says, but he says something and then Henry's like, yep, 100%, all the rumors are true. And, what happens when you rape and kill and whatever else people for 20 years, this is the result. But sort of turns out he was a rat, I guess, who was informing against the potential rebellion to Fedra. And then he sort of ratted out Kathleen's brother, who was the leader of the rebels, and led to his death. So that's why Kathleen has such a revenge-driven
getting Henry,
plot for killing Henry. So what I don't know, what would you say your standout moment was this episode? Because it's sort of, you got the slower paced stuff between all the characters sitting around and talking for the majority of the episode. I mean, obviously they do that walking when they eventually head out. Sam, Henry explains his plan. They head out. They go for the tunnels. Joel's all worried about the clickers. They sit and hang out in the bunker for a while. You've got these other scenes happening with Kathleen and whatever else, but then you've got the obviously action-packed final 20 minutes or whatever, 15, 20 minutes of the episode. So
I think it's just everything in the motel, I think. Especially knowing what was coming. Like, even me with a kind of a vague memory of the game, I was like, oh, this is the part where it doesn't end well. I think such really great performances by everybody in there. They're all kind of planning for the future. And then, Sam asks Ellie, like, are you ever scared? And then I think important thing to point out here is they changed Sam to be deaf, which wasn't a thing in the games.
No.
It obviously, like, changes the dynamic drastically of Sam even needing Henry even more than he did if you're just being his brother. Like, he's relying on him to keep him alive. But yeah, just all these writing the notes and everything. And then, that moment where he shows Ellie the bite, and like Ellie desperately wanting to believe that, this is her moment. She's going to smear a bunch of blood on him and he's going to be okay. And then obviously
she's the magic cure.
Yeah. And then it not going the way she wants it to.
Yeah. I mean, it's a super sad scene that's going to catch a lot of people off guard, like a lot of stuff in the show, I guess, in general. But, I can't imagine not knowing what's coming in that her waking up in the morning, and because she says when she's like morning or whatever, and he doesn't respond, you're not going to think he's a zombie because he's deaf. He's just like, oh, he can't hear, of course. And Ellie sort of has a moment of like, oh, of course, like, and that's why she walks over to like say, and just the hand on the shoulder, and then straight away into the, and then her tears at the end, I guess, when like after Sam Henry shoots himself after shooting Sam, and then even Lamar Johnson's performance there until he eventually just shoots himself, and you don't need to see it. They just keep the camera on Ellie, Bella Ramsey's face, and she's just crying, like just watching all this dramatic shit happen. So, because they do a really good job at showing that like she blames herself. It's definitely not her fault, obviously.
No,
he was going to turn either way, so there was no thing. But obviously, the whole "I'm sorry" on the chalkboard thing, whatever you want to call it. But,
and it's kind of, she's hardened after that a little bit, clearly, which is an interesting juxtaposition to earlier in the episode where she's more childlike than we ever saw her before. Yeah, when she's playing with Sam in the bunker,
playing soccer and reading comic books and talking about comic books,
geeking out about
I have issues 2, 7, 8, and 9.
Obviously the comic books you can collect in the game or whatever.
So all their relationship was really good. Yeah, at the end when Joel's sort of shocked, even he's just standing there, and then she's already off walking, like, "Come on, we're leaving." Like she's leading the walk now. So
she wants
really
to
makes me wonder where we go next episode. I keep forgetting I could probably just find out by watching the next time thing. I assume there is, but I never bothered to. But I mean, in my mind, I know where we go next in the game. I just don't know how we're doing or how we're getting there. How long? Anyway, or how long we're going to do this or what the go is. But we're at an interesting sort of point in the game to television adaptation point, because everything so far in the show, I was like, see how we go now. Man, I do want to come back with the epicness of that sort of the scene, because so they changed the shootout in the suburbs, I guess, different. So in the games, there's a dude there shooting, or two dudes, whatever, and you sneak around, shoot them, all these sorts of things. That happens, but you obviously don't have Kathleen coming, and you don't have a fucking
huge army coming after you.
Quota plus a bunch, like a million clickers and whatever else coming out and all this sort of stuff.
I think they obviously were setting it up really well. Like, obviously there was the tease last week with the ground kind of shaking or whatever, and then they outright saying like the Fedra like forced them underground.
Forced them underground, and then they cleared them out, apparently. I went down there 3 years ago and cleared them all out.
And we're like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, done. Yeah. That's it.
Nope.
just waiting for an exit hole somewhere. So, yeah, and they're coming out like ants. They're coming out and I think that bloater looks just scary as fuck.
It does. Disappointing it didn't like fart out about a bunch of gas or whatever. But, I feel like that wouldn't translate to television.
To TV, yeah.
It can just be a boss who rips off Jeffrey Pierce's head.
Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting that they were all kind of clickers, I guess. Like, normally there's a couple clickers are reasonably rare.
Yeah, but they're like the oldest ones is how they explain it in the games anyway. Like, they're just they've age to a point that they become clickers. So if they've been trapped under there for 20 years, I guess it makes sense that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe that's why they did like the massive time jump. They times change. In the game,
yeah, so they could get
so they can have more clickers.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That child clicker too was fucked.
The child clicker, fucking scary, terrifying, that was like twisting around all over the place in the car.
Yeah, just jumping on Kathleen at the end there. Just
take her out,
beating the living fuck out of her face or whatever she's doing. That's crazy.
Oh, even the discussion they have before everything goes to shit, of like her saying like, you know, you should have just let your brother die because, you know, kids everywhere kind of are dying all the time. Yeah. It's not that big a deal.
What makes him so special? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Just cold-blooded.
And even like Joel, like with the old man, like giving him the moment to like, you know, not die.
Don't do it. Just put the gun down. Just don't leave the room for an hour. You know.
Yeah.
Do it. Bang. Before all that, of course, we do have like the opening with Henry, which was like the way they paced all that out with him being across from Joel and Ellie when they get into the shootout and Henry's seeing what
even at the very start of the episode, you get them taking the city, like them like full on fucking up Fedra, like pretty messed up, hanging people,
beating the living
shooting
fuck out
them,
of
like unarmed people and that kind of
them,
stuff. Yeah. Obviously, them hiding and that kind of stuff, and you get Kathleen trying to find out where Henry is, and like with all these informants, I think that might be one of the better scenes like of the show so far, of like her trying to get them to talk or whatever. Yeah.
She's like,
that was
put you on
really
trial. You're all guilty, of course, but
yeah, yeah, she's so good in that. And then
she's really good.
It's like, we're just gonna kill them all.
I like also when Parry has that scene later when she's like in her childhood home and he comes in and says about, you know, he's talking about her brother saying, you know, he was a great man, but we're not where we are because of him. We're where we are because of you. We'll do whatever you want, sort of. So again, just like backs up the whole reason. The reason she's leading is because she's the one that she was the catalyst, and that's why.
Yeah. So really, if Henry hadn't have done what he did, then this wouldn't have happened, and everything would be the same. And we assume.
Yeah. But I found the themes quite interesting here. What happens when you follow revenge, the path of revenge too far. You know what I mean? Like, it's a recurring theme throughout The Last of Us, and will continue.
I feel like they're foreshadowing a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Better than they probably did in the game. Yeah.
Obviously, knowing
where it's ending up.
They're going.
Like, and also us noticing, I guess, as well, probably.
Yeah, obviously, a little bit of that. But, I mean, I'm not reading too far into it to say that, like, Kathleen's story is her being obsessed with Henry has led to, like, if she'd just stopped, just let it go.
Yeah.
They would have all been alive. Like, just saying, like,
that's
their obsession with revenge led to them all being dead. So, there's that. Really cool to see also, I saw pictures online, they're going around, like, behind the scenes stuff, that all the clickers are real people, costumes. Like, they've got CGI top for added effects and stuff like that. But
who did it? I think they hired the people who did the apes in Planet of the Apes to do the clicker movements shit. Which makes sense.
Because they look really good, and it looks too good to just be CGI to me, so that made sense. Like, so I saw someone tweet that they look bad, and I was like, I don't know, look good to me. But...
I don't know. You sure you're watching on the... Are you watching on your phone?
Yeah, I don't know. They look pretty good to me, and so the combination of special effects and real world stuff, so the best of both worlds. So. Good stuff. Anything else I've missed? Like, major...
No, nothing major. Just small points. Like obviously, the thing in the bunker. Like there's a reference to like the guard that you can read a bunch of notes about.
Yeah, the story. Ishmael, I think. Right? I think that was his name, Ishmael.
Yeah.
From the game.
Yeah. So lots of different little things like that.
That's a spin-off.
Yeah.
Last little spin-off.
Is Last of Us Factions that's going to be in that. Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Lots of cool moments and that kind of stuff. And obviously, the first meeting between Sam and Henry and Ellie and Joel.
Yeah.
It's like...
Very funny.
No, it's all right. He's just got asshole voice.
Yeah, he's got an asshole voice. It's like, everything's going to be cool.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm going to be cool. Everything's going to be fine. Yeah. I mean, I didn't trust him either, so... yeah, it's funny. It's good. I feel like this is also one of Bella Ramsey's best episodes, I'd say. She really, I feel like, hit the nail on the head between the mix of like tough stuff and childlike wonder and whatever else between Ellie. It was really good this episode. All right, that'll do it for our spoiler discussion of Last of Us Episode 5. Of course, we'll be back, not anytime soon, but, from a week from now when the show returns, because we don't have an episode this week. But, yeah, 20th is the next episode. Sad face, but there you go. Make sure you listen to all the regular episodes of Platinum Explosion on this podcast feed, of course, and then we'll be back for another spoiler discussion when the next episode drops. How many have we got left? Was there 9 episodes?
Yep.
So 4 episodes. That's crazy. All right, thank you for joining us. Good.